Hello, my name is Kayla and welcome to my channel. So in recent years, I found myself to be an avid reader. When I was younger, I was super into reading, but when I started college and then I started working, the last thing I wanted to do in my free time was sit down and read a book. But then back in 2021, I started a journey to rediscover my love for reading again. And I actually ended that year having read 5 books, which was a big deal for me at the time. So year after year, as I've raised my reading goals more and more, I've collected more and more books. So when I noticed a fun trend that other creators here on YouTube were doing to motivate them to get through their to-be read pile or shelf, I thought, why not I try? That looks like fun. And that trend is TBR jar picks my reads. So if you haven't seen this trend before, basically you take a jar, any jar, and you fill it with pieces of paper with prompts. And those prompts will help you choose what to read next on your shelf. So I might pick a piece of paper from this jar and it might say a book with blue on the cover. So then I turn to my shelf and I pick a book with blue on the cover, which honestly, looking at my shelf, I would have a lot of options if I did pick that one today. Although I would describe myself as kind of a mood reader, sometimes I do struggle on choosing what to read next. So doing something like this kind of helps out with my decision paralysis, and also it just looks like fun. Now these videos, creators usually tend to put them out monthly, picking 5 to 6 prompts for 5 to 6 books. But my reading pace averages out to about 2 books per month. So I thought, if I put this out monthly, it's going to be a really short and boring video if I'm just doing 2 picks per month. So I'm going to do these quarterly, pick about, I think I'm going to do 6. I'm going to choose 6 books, 2 per month, January through March. That's like winter. And then April through June, spring, summer, fall. You get the picture. So doing it that way is more in line with my goals for this year and allows me a little leeway as well. Now, like every other creator, I do want to read every single book that I do choose today, but sometimes I might not just be in the mood. And by the time the quarter is over and it's time for spring, I might just put it back on my to-be read shelf. You never know. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. This is more of something just for fun, but yeah, I'm really excited. With all of that out of the way, let's get started with choosing our first prompt. So our first prompt says, a book that fits the current season. Wow. Okay. So winter. Let me see here. We got a lot of options. So honestly, I think there's only one applicable book here, and it is one that I do want to read before the movie comes out next month. And that is Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. I've been wanting to read more classics. I haven't read a lot of classics just in my free time besides assigned school reading. And I didn't really have any interest in reading this until I saw the trailer for the new film adaptation with Margot Robbie, Jacob Elordi. Editing Kayla here. I just wanted to quickly pop in and note that since recording this video, I have started reading Wuthering Heights. I'm not kidding you. Within the first 3 pages of the book, it notes that Heathcliff, who is the main male character of this story, is a dark-skinned man. With this movie coming out, Jacob Elordi, who is a white actor, was casted for this role. Now, I know that some people might have the argument of, well, sometimes race doesn't play a big factor in some stories. It doesn't matter who you cast to play a certain character. It might not change the trajectory of a character's growth or the plot point. But as somebody who is over halfway through the book, I can tell you that Heathcliff's race and his appearance are very vital to the story. Just the way that people treat him in his upbringing and how he responds to that and how he carries himself throughout the progression of the story. His race is very, very important to this story, and I don't understand why they would change that for this movie adaptation. This isn't the first time that people have gotten it wrong regarding this story, and this is definitely not the first time that a character has been whitewashed, and it is 2026. What are we doing? With all that being said, I likely will not be going to support this movie. I'm enjoying the book. I'm really enjoying the book and the story, and I really encourage like people to actually read the book for themselves. I just wanted to quickly pop in and note that. On with the video. So the first book for my winter TBR is Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. All right, so let's go with the second prompt. And the second prompt is a 5-star prediction. Ooh. What is a book that I think I will love? One book that I do think that I will love is Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth. I know this does take place during the summer, so I think I do want to save this for summer. Another book that I think I'll really like is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandanna. I did read The Secret Society of Irregular Witches last year, and I absolutely loved that book. This also looks really, really sweet. But is this the one I want to choose? I don't know. Another one is Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. I have been wanting to read this book for a long time. Just by the first line on the back of the book, in this sizzling and swoony novel, 2 rival musicians fight their attractions as they compete for center stage. I love music. I'm a musician, I think, and I do like my romance stories, even though I've been trying to like sway away from them a little bit and try different things. This just looks really good. It's between a cellist and a rock star. Julie Soto is also a musical theater geek, fandom nerd, and the author of many Spice fan fictions. All right, girl, Julie, I think you're going to win me over with this one. Yeah, I got to do it. Right? I overthink a lot, if you can't tell. Yeah, this is one that's been on my TBR for so long. When I was on a book buying ban, I wanted to buy this so bad when I saw this in a store once in Chicago, and I didn't do it. But you know what? I got it for Christmas. And we're going to do it. So the second book on my winter TBR is Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. So I've been obsessed with watching these videos, and I get why so many creators do them because this is so much fun. Okay, so our third prompt is a book with water on the cover. With water? So like a summer read? Okay, hold on. Ooh, okay. Well, this is a good one. This one is A Magic Deep and Drowning by Hester Fox. This one is set in the Dutch Republic in 1650. One spring day, 20-year-old Clara van Wieren is faced with an ill omen, a whale beached and rotting in the noonday sun. But Clara doesn't believe in magic or superstition, and this portent is quickly dismissed when a proposal from a wealthy merchant arrives, promising Clara the freedom she seeks from her mother's overbearing rule. When her attempts at overseeing the household at her family's estate lead to a chance encounter with a mysterious young man with russet hair and sparkling eyes the color of the sea. Ooh. She finds herself strangely drawn to him. As Clara grows closer to Marwitz, she must choose between the steady, gentle life she has been raised for and the man who makes her blood sing. Since I've already picked a love story, and I think Wuthering Heights also kind of has a love story in it, I think I might pass on this one, but I might come back to it. That might be my only one. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. This is perfect. Okay, one that could fit this prompt, and does. Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. You know what? I am going to pick this because one of my friends also bought this book recently, and she wants to read it together, so I have to. This book is about a woman named Tova Sullivan, and after her husband dies, she begins working a night shift at an aquarium, mopping floors and tidying up. Keeping busy has always helped her cope, which she's been doing since her 18-year-old son mysteriously vanished on a boat over 30 years ago. Tova becomes acquainted with a curmudgeonly Marcellus, a brilliant giant Pacific octopus living at the museum. Marcellus wouldn't dream of lifting one of his 8 arms for his human captors until he forms a friendship with Tova. Ever the detective, Marcellus deduces what happened the night Tova's son disappeared. And now Marcellus must use every trick his old invertebrate body can muster to unearth the truth for her before it's too late. This sounds so cute and so unique. Yeah, it has to go to this one. So my third book for this winter is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. So for the fourth prompt, a book with a title that is 2 words or less. Okay. Again, I looked at Sunburn. I really want to read it, but I do want to read it in the summer. I'm like one of those readers where I have to read it during the season. Like sometimes I'll be in the mood of like, I'm in the winter and I want something warm to remind me of what summer was once like. But I don't know, that just feels like a summer read, and like, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. Love and Gelato. I mean, like, there's an ampersand in there. Does that count for 2 words? No? Okay, never mind. There is this new book that I got, Slewfoot by Brom. This just looks really cool. I mean, like, look at the cover. It is so gorgeous. This takes place in Connecticut in 1666. And this is kind of like around, the Puritan days, and it has to do with witchcraft and everything. That is a contender. But also Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. This is actually a reread, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a prompt in that jar somewhere that says a reread. But I have been wanting to reread this. This is on the banned book list. I did read this back when I was about 14 or 15 years old. And I just remember this being such an important read to me. It is very important, like what the subject matter has to do with. It impacted me highly. And I don't know, if it impacted me so much at a young age of 14, 15 years old, I really want to experience this again as an adult. So yeah. So the 4th book on my winter TBR is Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. All right, number 5. A book with more than 500 pages. Okay. Do I have one that has over 500 pages? You know, honestly, like when I made this jar and all these prompts, I just copied and pasted from Google. I think this might be my longest book, honestly, because I'm just trying to compare it to everything else I have on my shelf. But I think this is the one. And also, what perfect timing. And the book that I think I'm going to pick is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. This is actually being adapted into a movie starring Ryan Gosling, which is coming out in March. As far as meeting the prompt, I see that this is only 476 pages. I'm comparing this to every book that I have on my shelf, and I don't think I have anything above that. This one, Mika in Real Life. Nope, that one's only 356. That is the biggest one. So yes, what perfect timing, because I do want to read this before the movie comes out. And it is a sci-fi also, which is completely outside of my reading comfort zone. But I've heard a lot of great things about this. I've also heard great things about the audiobook. So I might listen to this on streaming as well. We'll see. But yeah. All right. So the 5th book will be Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. All right, our final prompt, a book with red on the cover. Okay. Oh, that's perfect for Valentine's Day. That's perfect for Valentine's Day in February. Okay. You know, I could go dark and do Handmaid's Tale. This has been on my TBR for a while. I could also do You Had Me at Hola, which is a love story. This is by Alexis, Daria. This does look really cute. I could do, is this pink? Oh, this is red. There's red on the cover. First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. This is red, right? Or there's also Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. Damn, I really don't know. I feel like it is kind of cheating to pick this because it's mostly pink. However, the font is red. And last year I did buy this on Valentine's Day. So I think it's meant to be. So this is about a hopeless romantic meets a demoralized radio host in this cozy, sleepless in Seattle inspired love story. Come on. Aidan Valentine has a secret. He's fallen out of love with love. And as the host of Baltimore's romance hotline, that's a bit of a problem. But when a young girl calls into the radio station asking for dating advice for her mom, the interview goes viral, thrusting Aidan and Heartstrings, the show, into the limelight. Lucy Stone thought she was going to do just fine. She has a good job, an incredible family, and a smart, slightly devious kid. But when all of Baltimore is suddenly scrutinizing her love life, or lack thereof, she begins to question if she's as happy as she believed. Maybe a little more romance wouldn't be such a bad thing. That sounds so cute. That sounds really cute. And I have like her kid like be the one to set them up. Not set them up, but like initiate it. That sounds really cute. I have read B.K. Borison in the past. I read Good Spirits, which is a holiday romance, and it wasn't for me. But this premise does sound a little more interesting. It does sound cuter, maybe a little bit more believable. Maybe. Yeah, for the fact that I bought this a year ago on Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is coming up, and it has red in the cover. Yeah, this will be my final pick for the winter. So to summarize my picks for this winter, we picked out 6 books. The first prompt read a book that fits the current season, and I chose Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. The second prompt read a 5-star prediction, and I chose Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. The third prompt read a book with water on the cover, and I chose Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. The fourth prompt was a book with a title of 2 words or less, and I chose Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. The fifth prompt was a book with more than 500 pages, and although it barely met the prompt with 476 pages, I chose Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. And the last prompt read a book with red on the cover, and I chose First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I'm really excited about these books that I chose. I feel like it fits all sorts of different moods. They're from different genres, ones that I am more uncomfortable with, ones that tend to be my favorite. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. I really liked having the assistance just by picking a piece of paper because it kind of gives me the direction, but also allows me to get to choose what I want instead of just staring at my bookshelf and being like, okay, what next? And I feel like these books are definitely going to keep me busy during the cozy wintry months. So that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching and sticking around until the end. Let me know down in the comments because I'm very curious. What is your must read for this year? It can be a new release that you're anticipating, or it's a book that you've had on your shelf for months, maybe years, like some people. And if you're not a reader yourself and you still watch this, thank you. And if you don't have anything to comment down below with a little snowflake emoji for the winter. If you like this video today, make sure to give this a like. And if you liked me, feel free to subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon in another video.